Phượng xin thay mặt các anh chị em trong chương trình mạn đàm chính trị tại Boston, Massachusetts. Xin kính chào và chúc sức khỏe đến quý khán thính giả đài truyền hình VNA. Kính thưa quý vị, hôm nay Kim Phượng hân hạnh giới thiệu đến quý vị một thanh niên trẻ tuổi thuộc thế hệ thứ hai của người Việt tị nạn Cộng sản. Một khuôn mặt rất thân quen với người Việt tại Massachusetts. Anh là người luôn nghĩ về quê hương Việt Nam và đã đóng góp rất nhiều cho cộng đồng người Việt của chúng ta từ khi anh còn là nghị viên của thành phố Pittsburgh và là thượng nghị sĩ của tiểu bang Massachusetts. Đó là anh Dean Tran, hay nói một cách khác, đó là Senator Dean Tran. Anh đang tranh cử vào chức dân biểu liên bang tại Hoa Kỳ. Trước khi bắt đầu cuộc phỏng vấn, chúng tôi xin cáo lỗi cùng quý vị vì cuộc phỏng vấn này sẽ được diễn ra bằng Việt ngữ. Anh Dean Tran có tâm sự với chúng tôi là cuộc phỏng vấn này sẽ được diễn ra bằng Anh ngữ, vì anh Dean Tran có tâm sự với chúng tôi là Việt ngữ của anh thì không được lưu loát cho lắm. Do đó anh e ngại là anh không đủ ngôn từ để diễn tả những gì mà anh muốn nói. Xin quý vị thông cảm. Good evening, Mr. Dean Tran, or Senator Tran, I should say, sorry. How are you?
Good evening, and I'm doing very well. Thank you very much for having me on your show tonight.
Well, I thank you as well for agreeing to meet with me today in order for me to introduce you to our viewers. Before I begin this interview, could you please greet our VNA TV viewers and introduce yourself to the voters of the 3rd District of Commonwealth of Massachusetts?
Oh, absolutely. And before I begin and give you a quick insight into who I am and about my life, I would also begin by thanking your viewers for watching this show. You began by saying my name is Dean Tran, and that is correct. I was born to a 25-year Army veteran who served in the South Vietnamese Army, my father, and a small business owner, my mother. And as an infant, I survived the Vietnam War. I also survived the ocean while people around us died on a small wooden boat. When my family and I fled communism in search of freedom. And as a toddler, I survived one of the roughest refugee camps in the world while waiting for our green cards to be approved so that we can emigrate to the United States. Now I am married. I have 4 beautiful children, 3 girls and 1 boy. One is a teacher. One is a sophomore at a very prestigious university. My 3rd youngest daughter is in middle school, and my only son, who is 10 years old, he plays a lot of sports, and he's quite an athlete. I was educated at Fitchburg High School and Brandeis University. In 2005, I was elected to the city council and became the first minority elected in the city and the first Vietnamese American elected to office in the state of Massachusetts. I served 12 years on the city council. In 2017, I was elected to the state senate and became the first minority elected in the district, the first Vietnamese American elected to the Massachusetts legislature, the first refugee, and the first Asian-born American elected to the state senate. Now I am the first Asian American to run for the U.S. Congress in the state of Massachusetts.
My first question is, what makes you decide, what motivates you to choose this time to run for U.S. Congressman?
You know, the Democrat politicians are destroying this country, and they are making it very hard for the people to live. I am running to address the inflation. I am running to lower the gas and electric prices. I am running to put America first and not China. I am running to put Americans first and not illegal immigrants. I am running to provide public safety. I am running to preserve your parental rights and protect your constitutional freedoms. And I am the only candidate who will protect your life, liberty, and happiness. Now, I am also very motivated to run because the American people are having a tough time surviving. They can't pay their bills. They are having a hard time putting food on the table to provide for their families. I will help change this and make America a better place to live, work, and raise a family.
My next question, as someone who have run for nationwide position, how do you see yourself transferring your skill, your knowledge, your expertise that you gain from the above mentioned position and to this the field of being a U.S. Congressman? And for that is, what are your plans for the future should the voters choose you to be their U.S. Congressman rather than the current Congress, Miss Lori Tran?
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you, Go, for that question. When I was elected to the city council, I did not have any municipal experience. When I was elected to the state senate, I did not have any state experience. What I did was listened, served, and worked for the people. I have a very strong record of constituent service. I'm planning on bringing this record to the U.S. Congress. I plan on working for the people. I plan on helping to make this nation safe from crime and drugs, that our country has a strong economy, that people can work and provide for their families, that our future is built on freedoms and not communism, and that the government is held accountable to the people. My opponent doesn't believe in any of these things.
Wow. You will make America great again, won't you?
Absolutely.
Well, recently, Massachusetts had avoided the mass shootings that have been occurring across our nation. This criminal act threatened the life of all Americans, and especially our school children as well. Gun violence is still the hot topic. It's still the most concern among citizens. If elected, what action would you take to reduce gun violence and improve the security of our school and public spaces across the nation? You had mentioned that you will provide all safetiness to the public area. What action, what would you do to provide that?
Great question. And this falls under public safety. But before I answer that question, we have to make sure that we understand that when we talk about guns, guns do not kill people. It is the people who manage to hold and utilize these guns. First and foremost, we need to understand that. Now, we need to properly fund our schools so that our schools are well equipped with security measures to keep our children safe, because our children are the future of this country. We also need to support school resource officers. That is very important. School resource officers are basically police officers who are dedicated and committed and assigned to individual schools to provide that public safety. Now, bad people will always find ways to hurt other people, right? Because bad people will only go to places where they know that they can hurt other people. I'm an advocate for strong public safety, and we need to enforce our laws and support law enforcement. We need to fund our police departments and increase police presence. The Vietnamese communities benefit from law and order because we believe in them. And my opponent, including other Democrat politicians, don't believe in public safety. They believe in defunding our police departments. And when you have communities lacking police officers, that is very detrimental to public safety. And matter of fact, it is very detrimental to the Asian communities.
Well, that's a great plan. I believe that gun does not kill people. It's all about the people who are using gun.
And correct. You look at other countries, and there have been incidents where there has been mass murders that did not that did not include firearms. There has been mass murders where a simple knife was used, or grenades and bombs of that sort. So we have to be very careful in blaming firearms rather than blaming the people who commit the crime.
Yes, and I'm also myself is strong supporter for funding the police department as well.
Excellent.
Well,
thank you for your support.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, my next question is, given the continuing economic crisis, how are you capable of or able to assist your possible future constituent in dealing with their current financial difficulty? You had also already mentioned the inflating cost of living, the rising cost of medicine, the rising cost of healthcare insurance, how people can put food on the table, how people can put gas in the car to go to work, all basic living things. It's getting harder and harder, more difficult. What is your plan to approach that?
Sure. You're absolutely correct. And all the difficulties that the American people, especially in the Asian communities, are experiencing is a result of out of control government spending and failed energy policies from the Democrat politicians. When we have a weak economy that has high inflation, record high food and gas prices, the minority communities are affected the most, particularly the Vietnamese American communities. The cost of this bad economy is due to two things, and those two things that I just mentioned: the Democrat politicians' out of control government spending and their failed energy policies. The inflation was initiated by the $1.9 trillion unfunded bill, which was called the American Rescue Plan Act, and it was passed by all Democrats. There was bipartisan opposition to that. All Republicans and 3 Democrats voted against that. The experts and the economists warned that it would initiate inflation, and the Democrats ignored it. They also reduced oil production and passed more regulations on producing energy resources, causing the high oil and gas prices. And now, as you see, the problems that we are facing now, the reason why people are having such a hard time, and people are losing so much money from their savings account, their 401k plan, their retirement, accounts is all because of the Democrats, the Democrat politicians that are in office. Our government needs to stop spending money first and foremost, and that they're spending money that we don't have. And then the second thing we need to do is that we need to be energy independent. We have all the oil that we need right here in this country. We don't need to import any energy resources from other countries. We need to put Americans first. And when we have the right policies in place, we will grow the economy. And when we have a strong economy, everyone benefit, especially the Vietnamese population, because there will be opportunities. And as you and I know, we as Vietnamese Americans love opportunities. We seize on opportunities. And the current climate that we're in, there are no opportunities. The Democrat politicians have taken away those opportunities. And when there's no opportunities, you can't achieve the American dream. So, we have to make sure that we have the right politicians in place. And in this November's election, everyone, especially Vietnamese Americans, have to look within themselves and say, we want a better future for our children. We want a better future for us. And we have to start voting Republicans and give Republicans an opportunity, a chance to fix this country and fix this economy.
All of us would like to go back to energy independent 2 years ago. 2 years ago, we don't have to go beg other country for gas, for oil. But now we are. In crisis. It's so terrible.
Not too long ago, like you said, 2 years ago, we had the lowest unemployment rate for every minority groups: Blacks, Hispanics, Asians, women. We had inflation rate below 2%, 1.4%. We had people making a lot of money. Everyone was working. Gas price was under $2. Other countries were respecting us. We had public safety. Our borders were safe. Now, all of that are gone. And that's because we have Democrats in office.
That is right. We have open border now. Well, thank you for your great answer. And as a voter, again, I would love to hear all of that. And all of that plan is just so great for any citizen, no matter what party you are, Democrat or Republican. All of us would like to have the government, the people in authority, to put American first. Put America first. As you know, there are about 75,000 Vietnamese Americans living in Massachusetts, and many of them are eligible to vote. There are also a great number of young Vietnamese American demographic. What could that give this young voter a reason to vote for you?
If I was a young person, and matter of fact, I'm 20 something years away from retirement, but I was a young person, and even now, with my age, I should be very concerned about having a future, because if we continue the path that this country is on, we are going to have a very bad future for this country. And when there's no future for this country, there's no future for the next generations. Just for a simple example, since Joe Biden took office, and with the Democrats being in control, the stock market has lost $7.6 trillion. $7.6 trillion. That means that people's savings account, retirement plans, 401k, education plans for their children have lost up to 40, 45, even 50%. So there's no future under the Democrats. And if I was a young person, I would be very worried if this continues. And there's only one solution. And that solution is on November 8th, is to vote Republicans. And I tell people all the time, it doesn't hurt to vote Republicans. Give Republicans a chance to fix these problems. And in 2 years from now, if you don't think the Republicans fix the problems, go back and vote Democrats, right? But right now, we cannot as a society and as a country afford 2 more years of the Democrats controlling this country.
While you were a senator, you worked very hard with all ethnic community, especially the Vietnamese community. Everyone still remember you fight hard with determination for nghị quyết cờ vàng, and you always raise our voices for freedom and justice for the people in Vietnam. We thank you for that. We appreciate that very much. Today, how do you view your relationship with the Vietnamese American community? What do you hope to accomplish to receive support from this community in your race for Congressman seat?
Well, thank you for that question, Go. I love my Vietnamese brothers and sisters and uncles and aunts. I will always support our Vietnamese American community because we only have each other. We are the forgotten ethnic group in this country. We do not have a voice, and we do not have representation on any level of government. I am doing my best to bring attention to our people. And with their support, I will give them a powerful voice in the US Congress. And together, we will be a force to be reckoned with. And that is a promise that I can give to the Vietnamese and as well as the Asian community.
All the American Vietnamese voters, you hear that? If you're going to have powerful voice in the society, you know who to vote for. Are there any last words you would like to express to the viewers watching these interviews?
Sure. First of all, I am very grateful and thankful for this opportunity to join you on the show and to be able to speak to the Vietnamese community across not only this country, but maybe worldwide. And I'm very thankful for any financial support that they can provide. And no longer the Vietnamese American community will be ignored with me representing you. I'm asking for your help, and together we can make history. Together we can be the first Vietnamese American as well as the first Asian American elected to the US Congress from the state of Massachusetts. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us for this interview. Chúng tôi kêu gọi quý vị, những người Mỹ gốc Việt trong quận hạt số 3, hãy tích cực rủ nhau đi bầu. Và dĩ nhiên sau khi cuộc phỏng vấn này thì quý vị đã biết Senator Tran là ai và những chương trình của ông. Xin quý vị ủng hộ ông. Xin cảm ơn quý vị đã theo dõi cuộc phỏng vấn của chúng tôi. Xin kính chúc quý vị, gia đình và những người thân một buổi tối hạnh phúc, vui vẻ, an bình. Xin chào tạm biệt, hẹn tái ngộ trong chương trình kỳ tới.